Alrighty, welcome along. Session number 2 for the day. Trying to earn my rest day tomorrow, which is Monday. So it's Sunday night. What time have we got here? 8:30 p.m. I'll be up late watching the Dolphin, so I thought I'd cram in another ride. On here for about 45 minutes, maybe through to the hour. 3 power meters to compare, and another chunk of data for me to look at tomorrow. So I thought I'd live stream this, and we'll hang out, do some steering, cause some havoc, answer some questions, catch up with everybody in chats, and generally have a good time. Sweating buckets. Well, hopefully not sweating buckets. Maybe if these fans do their job, we'll be good to go. Hope everybody is well and had a good weekend so far. If you've still got some weekend left, here in Australia it's almost over. If you're in Melbourne, you're in continuous weekend mode, as they're still in lockdown. Titans Grove tonight, and then I'll roll the dice at the end of Titans Grove and see which way we go. Doesn't really matter. I do want Titans though for the ups and downs, to give this trainer a decent warm-up. On the Kickr18, using this one as a bit of a reference check for a few other tests that I am doing. Welcome along YouTube. 58 viewers already. 'Tis the time of the week to go live and have a chat. Speaking of chat, how are we? Am I going to test the Power to Max NG Eco? I can't. Power to Max are very rare. If I can get a hold of one, yeah. In the 3.5 years I've been having a go at this little corner of the internet, no, I've never come across a Power to Max to test. A little harder having to grab a spider and test too. But yeah, if I can get a hold of one, sure. People say good things. And I guess part of what I'm doing tonight is Lama Lab Test. It's the protocol that I'll be putting everything through. Sweat in Ballarat. Well, I am indoors. Have I got the new kicker yet? Mitch, you need to subscribe to the channel, yes. Put a video out about that within seconds of the embargo lifting. On Watopia tonight, so if you want to come along for a cruise, I'll be just in the Watopia free world, cruising around. I'll be doing my own thing in erg mode in just a few moments, in about 15 moments. Make sure my power meters are on and recording. Yeah, we're good, we're good. Got some background tunes happening. As always, let me know if the tunes are too loud or too soft. I think I've finally cranked up the Zwift noise a little bit, so you might get some ambient Zwiftness. Abby, how are we doing? Good to see you. Rob did Mon Von 2, whoosh. Von says the music has lyrics. Oh, we can't be having that. We can't be having any WAP happening from Nicki Minaj and... Was it Nicki Minaj, WAP? Let me know, chat. Very inappropriate for this channel. I'm not talking about a wireless protocol security either. Rich audio, already rock and roll. Okay, just a few little jams up these hills. One jam. Titans Grove. This part of Titans Grove is such a great little trainer warm-up. Yesterday, 70Ks, Abby had to have been online, couldn't have been outdoors. Which route did you do? Jam number 2. That's all we need. One more jam coming up. Ian, I'm on the Kickr18 tonight. Just to get another reference check. Going old school. Well, by old school I meant it's only just got replaced the other week by the new model. One more hill jam makes 3, let's do it. There we go. Whew. Forrest, how am I finding my velo kicks? Good, mate. They're still on my feet. That's an endorsement. Jason from Alaska. How are we doing? Yeah, the velo kicks, I've got to say, sending Nick through my feet outline, nailed the size straight away, and I took his recommendation for the G8 insoles. They've been good, nice and comfy. I love the ratchets on these, you just flick them up and you can just throw your shoes off like a pair of slippers. Really handy. Hey Von. Von's in the background, she can shout answers. Von completed Von Top today.
It's fun.
Von, they call it Von Top, don't they? Not Ven Top.
Ven?
I think it's Von Top.
No.
I think it's a hat tip to you. Oh, no, I think it's chat. There we go. And now she's gone. I've got to check this. We have chat to check this. She'll be back. Jolly old pizza punt. Wow, I couldn't say that quickly 5 times without getting in trouble. This is Zwift. 3D cycling, I guess you call it. Oh, sorry, chat. I've been busy in my little world here. Let me get to the questions here. Good chat with Livestream. Cool, Luke, you caught that. Excellent. If people didn't catch that one, I was on restream.io, which I use to do multiple streams. They reached out to me because what we do here is quite unique in that, well, elevated heart rate plus streaming plus everything. We dive deep into that on their show. They have a Friday Lives where they catch up with creators or content producers. Just have a chat about what they do, a bit of their background. So they said 60 minutes. I can talk about this stuff for hours. Ven Top it is. I thought it was Von Top.
Nah.
No, sure. Ah, no, I'm going to call it Von Top anyway, after you.
It's Von 2.
It's Ven 2. I really thought it was Von.
Nah.
No? Oh, okay.
When you pronounce it, it's Von 2.
Okay.
You have your Aussie pronunciation there.
Mate.
Rule my bull.
Rule my pool. Anyone done rule my pool yet? I have no idea how to, oh, there goes Jarvis to there. I have no idea how to pronounce the rule my pool. You could just see Kath and Kim pronouncing that one, rule my pool. Definitely Von Top after Von 2. There we go.
That's right.
Pronunciation. If you want to have a laugh, everyone can have a laugh at my pronunciation. I try. But I also know that I don't pronounce things very well, so there's that. Vlad the Impaler. Right on. Okay, so tonight I'll do a spin down on this Kickr18. Kickr18s don't really require a spin down. Usually I pull this off the shelf and it's fine. Right now, looking pretty good. But I'll do one. I just want to get everything lined up. How was the cake? Fantastic. I think Maxie had some carrot cake today left over.
Yeah.
It was cake day, Max's first birthday. Oh, not only do I have cake. Oh, you can't see this. It's goo birthday cake. It's a birthday cake gel. I'm a sucker for these. I love these.
Yeah, I know you do.
I'd rather eat icing than the cake. So that's what that's about. All right, round 1 of the warm up. What do we know? So I need 90 seconds of this. Then I'll do a spin down. Whew, alrighty.
God, I've just checked my kilometre count for the week. I've done 207.8 kilometres.
Big week.
That's a big week for me these days.
I'm on 275 for the week, and that's all indoors.
Wow. It's all indoors for me too. Alright, well I'll leave you to it, so that you get stuck into it.
Thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, it's good. I'm going to put some dinner on and see you guys in about an hour.
Dolphin A final stage.
Yeah.
I kind of fell asleep last night. Did we catch the last little bit? Yeah, that was it. Alright, 30 seconds. 890 TSS, boom. That's a big week. That's what I'm doing tonight, earning my rest day tomorrow. "90 seconds, boom, there we go. Alrighty. Let's get this spin down done. So what I'm doing here is unpairing the controllable trainer. So that doesn't get away the spin down process. I also have the core body temperature sensor on under my heart rate strap, but yeah, it just crashed. So let's not go too far into talking about that. It's pretty early on. It's worked a couple of times for me. It's quite interesting. Core body temperature. It's not a probe. That's a bonus. Just trying to use it to find out, is the data going to be any useful to us? Is it going to be, if I'm feeling bad on the bike, could it be the core temperature's up or the room's up and I haven't really noticed? As it just slips onto the heart rate strap. Super lightweight to try out. And as I said, it's not a probe, so happy days. Okay, spin down taking place now. I'm using the Wahoo app rather than the in-game one from Zwift. Up to 36 and we coast. Sound's not working. On what exactly? On Zwift? I'm okay with that. Yeah, Remco. Ooh, lucky. Went over the edge of a barrier. It's really hard watching crashes. I've done a hip myself and a couple of collarbones. I mean, it's always, you sort of watch a crash to find out what happened. Like a car crash, you sort of watch, it's car crash television, that's why they do so well. But yeah, Von had it up today, and I'm like, can we not look at that anymore? Having been in a similar situation, it's like, I've got nothing to learn from this. I like finding out how he got into a situation like that. But yeah, anyway. Cool. Alrighty, back in action. Oh, I have the Sturzo's on tonight too. So what do we have? Kickr, polar H10 heart rate, Sturzo, and you can see how sensitive it is. It's pretty quick. Done, and we're back. Oh, how far are we in? Over 10 minutes. Cool. So anyway, tonight I might not be talking too much during my 250 watts, given it's my second Lama Lab Test for the day. But the 200 I'm okay. The overs and unders, you watch me suffer a little bit through those. And we'll try and rip out a sprint. It won't be a good sprint, but it will be some... Sorry, I'm just off screen while I back pedal and then 12 o'clock the crank set. Calibrate. Calibrate. Excellent here. Voice, music, and Zwift, not a problem. Excellent. You'll get no thumbs coming down either. I've again nuked that graphic out of the resource directories just so it's not on screen all the time. You'll still hear the bling though, I think. I'm not sure if I've turned those down. Okay, we are zeroed and ready to go. I'm warmed up. The train is good. It's all on the right screens. Turn around, then we'll rip some corners down through Titans Grove. And we're good. Dave, you're still off the bike currently after a spill a couple of weeks ago. Hope you're all right, mate. And getting some cycling in via the television. Couch cycling. That's what I call that. I've done many grand tours on the couch, watching. Cops on Yarra Boulevard this morning on bikes. Hopefully they weren't dropping tax. Alrighty. What's the worst you've seen a zero offset by pre-spin down? Oh. Not a lot. Not a lot. Probably 10 or 15 watts, I think. I kind of ignore what happens prior to the zero. I zero it just before I start anyway, so before I even get on the bike. Any updates on XKD X Power? Negative 5%. No. Nothing from XKD. Oh, the police were checking people who within 5 kilometres. Oof. So if you're watching from outside of Melbourne, Melbourne is in stage 4 lockdown. You can exercise 60 minutes a day within 5 k's from home only. Oh, this is going to cook me tonight. We'll get through. Have I got a video that explains the icons under the minimap? No. No, I haven't done one of those. Is there an Apple TV alternative for Android users? The Apple TV. There's your answer. You don't need an Apple ecosystem. It can be a standalone unit just for Zwift. Obviously, you'll need an Apple account. But for bang for buck, you can't beat it. You cannot beat it. There's no ride-ons falling because I've killed them. I've 0-byted the resource file. Yeah, I guess there's probably cheaper Android units that can run Zwift, but it's going to be a roll of the dice, depending on how good that experience is. Alrighty. Done. Fan number 2 coming on. Zwift Academy 2020. There's enough time left in the year for Zwift to announce that. So I'm guessing stay tuned on that. And it would be good for them to announce something like that because after we had a few of the bigger events. The specialised event this week's doing quite well, but nothing really beats Zwift Academy for people participating in the training. Lama headwind. All right, headwind's going on. Let's do it. Frankie, a recent subscriber, thanks for tuning in and thanks for subscribing. I do appreciate the positive feedback. Bit of background on the channel. Every day I wake up and have to block probably a number of people that I shouldn't have to block. Not that, well, you know what it's like, putting content out there, there's people having a crack. So I got abused for putting out a how to maintain your Tax Neo video. You know, take it off, clean the cassette, as per the manufacturer's spec, put a bit of grease on the through axle or the axle of the unit and put it back together. It's helped out 77,500 people. Apparently someone get really angry at that. And the fact that I potentially make a living out of giving little tips like that. It was obviously above this person, but rather than just move on, no, they had to flex. It gets me down every now and then, but I try and respond with polite words. They're also then blocked from the channel. But so anyway, sorry. Back to the positive comments. I do appreciate this. I'm not looking for positive comments. I'm not looking for respect. But I'm also not after people having a crack at something I did 3 years ago. But sounds like someone was a bit day drunk on the internet. It's opposite days. It sure is. Everybody in the UK. How's the weather in the UK, speaking of? Still warm? Specialised event. Character was complete black. People have said they're having issues with Apple TV and skin tones, whether it's an update or something. Sure. Which fans? Kick a headwind right in front of me. Hopefully it's not hitting the speakers here. And a small sun air beside me. I try and run them probably at half speed as what I normally would by myself. so it doesn't completely blast out the audio. It turned cooler and wet today. It did here too. Well, it's the middle of winter, so kind of expect that. For anybody just tuning in, check out restream.io had my live interview the other day, hour 15. Anya, who's their, I think, influencer or community manager. Sorry, I'm not quite sure of her job title. She's the one from Restream who reached out and works there, and got me on their live stream. So we cover a bit of backstory about what I do, where I've come from, why I do what I do, some of the challenges, not only for cycling, but also some tips for anybody who wants to live stream. She put the challenge down of, is there a sport that couldn't be live streamed? And I said, no, there's not. If you can do it, you can film it. If you can film it, you can live stream it. The only limitation is resources. And she had one. Skydiving. And actually there's two, skydiving and scuba diving. And someone in the chat said the wingsuit jumping, like the sugar gliders sort of wingsuit. First thing that popped in mind was, I bet you Red Bull could do that. Red Bull could live stream that, I'm sure. And for scuba diving or cave diving, you can probably run a cable. Wi-Fi won't work too well, but cable will work there. Why does the Tax Neo 2 and Zwift need a restart after a trainer road session? Otherwise, Tax Neo 2 does not simulate gradients in Zwift anymore. It depends how you're connecting to the trainer. If you're running Zwift and trainer road at the same time, you're obviously running trainer road to control the trainer, Zwift just to read the power. Depends on the pairing, so you've got to get those totally lined up. And it can confuse a device. Off. Alright, numbers are... interesting. Alright, at 10Ks we'll get into this erg session. Keep things a little more consistent. Yeah, John, that's why I get disappointed more having to administer the comments and chat, and not the live chat. Live chat's really good on this channel. Just the comments from drive-bys. It's like, I'm here to help people. Why? I'm not really that opinionated, unless you really get to me. But again, it's all a volume thing, isn't it? You walk down the street, walk down, and there's always one or 1,000. Tips and tricks to keep cool if you don't have an AC. Moving wind. Just move the wind. If you don't have a cooler, as long as you move wind around, even if it's hot wind. Well, it'd be nice if it was cool wind, but just move the air. And if you don't have AC and you don't have air flow, it could get mucky. Drink lots. Drink lots. Okay, gear selection. Right, smack bang in the middle of the rear of the cassette. Small ring on the front. E4 erg. Free ride. Well, I'll skip the free ride section. We've already done all of this. About to pop the 15th beer of the night. There you go. Kudos to you. And keeping the text is all structured correctly and everything. That's fantastic. Sorry, just to wrap up what I was saying about the trolls and the comments and things you have to moderate. I just find it really... I have different values too. Like, it's not something that I would do to another channel, or I would do to content that I don't like, so it just confuses me when people jump on and do their thing. But as I've said before, you've seen in live stream here, it's my house, I get to choose, so the hide user from channel works quite well. They can scream all they want, they just don't have a platform. I won't allow what I've built over years to be used as a platform just for that kind of negativity. And it gets personal really quick, really quick. But we're good, we're good. Let's get on to some positive stuff, including turning left. And including 200 watts erg for 10 minutes. Cheers, mate. Yeah, there we go. Your 15th beard put you over the edge, mate. Good stuff. This would be me after one beer. I'd be actually in the grass pretty quickly. Alrighty, numbers wise. Boom, boom, boom. Looking good. Kickr18 tonight. Bit of a reference check back to the Kickr18 as part of looking at the Kickr5, because the Kickr5 is newer than the Kickr18, which is Gen 4. Kickr18 is Gen 4. Third specialized stage with no airflow. Oof. Any bunch ride or any ride where you're committed to not getting off the bike and you haven't turned the fans on. Oof. Is there any way to check the status on badges that you have counts to them? No, not that I'm aware of. The only way I know of is Strava, and I did a tip on that, and then Strava went and made that a paid only feature to check out your previous attempts at segments. There was another site that does the similar thing. It escapes me now, I'm sorry. Sunair fans were 4 years ago in New South Wales. But what you're after is Vornado, or a fan that has a cover around the outside that makes the air more directional. That's the key for these Sunair ones. If you have those open cage fans, they seem to push air everywhere in a big... I won't take my hands off the bars to show you, but trying to be nice and smooth for the erg. But, yeah, directional fans. Alright, feeling better than what I thought for this second round today. But, we're only 3 minutes into this section. Drazza, I am well. I am well. Getting in a late night session. Hopefully this will keep me awake through to the Dauphiné. Is Wahoo done with updates for the original Kickr? 2014, yeah, I think so. We only saw cadence and dual Bluetooth added to the 18 and the core. Nothing new for the previous editions. That could be hardware, that could be the chips they used. Favorite car? Good question. Subaru Outback. I love my Subaru Outback. Lots of rooms for bikes. Bikes on the roof now and kid seats in the back. Industrial fan from Bunnings. Funk 44, did you get a snag on the way out? Because there'd be nothing as good as having a really hot snag that you could just put in front of the new cooler. Just take the edge off that new snag so you consume it a little bit faster. Bunnings is known for their snags. Sausage, if you're overseas and wondering what the hell I'm talking about. $14 times for the badge. Oh. So I have 11 route badges left on Zwift. 3 of those go up to Zwift. And I need, I think, 5 ascents or 6 for the 25. I stream 1080 because no one really wants it. 4K is going to be overkill. I'm not sure there's a 4K ingest for YouTube, is there? But 1080-60 looks fine, I think. As long as the encoder's all good. Looks a bit jumpy on my webcam now, but as long as the audio is okay. That's what it's all about. The extra credit badges, I don't have... What's one of the extra credit badges I don't have? There's one of them, I forget. I don't have the Everesting badge, I know that much. What's a snag? It's a sausage and bread. Oh, head on! Thurzo smash. Let's get out of that line. So you can't even go to Bunnings with a stage 4 lockdown. That's horrendous. Australian. We're all Australian. Yeah, I'm in Ballarat. So our Bunnings is still open. Trade can still get in. So I guess it depends. What does trade qualify? I'm not trying to get around the rules, but if what you do for work requires something from Bunnings, no matter what trade is, we're good now. Power meters, Suji and Asioma and Kickr18. So more of a reference / calibration check. And for the 18, for the work I'm doing with the Kickr5, diving into that. And also the Suji spider-based power meter. An ABN, cool. Click and collect, okay, that's still okay. New Kickr core coming soon? I don't think so. Not sure what they can do with the Kickr core. Seems to do a pretty good job. Maybe next year we'll see them adopt the no spin down, plus or minus 1%, but it is a lower level unit, so they don't want to cut themselves too much off from the top of the range. Almost what like Elite did, but they didn't cut themselves off. They improved their mid-range trainer, the Doretto X, Doretto XR. They improved that so well that the Drivo is gonzo. Do I have a bald head because I had cancer? No. I'd say it's because I'm a male. And they're the cards I was dealt. And if hair doesn't want me, I don't want it, so I take the rest of it off. So I choose to look like an idiot then. So does everyone watching remember what I said about people on the channel having to moderate things? This is one of those times. So, Raka, you can go get moderated. So if you're not going to respect me, you don't have a right to interrupt everybody else's viewing. Although it might be entertaining. I try not to call people fuckwits on stream. This is an example of where I will. So mate, don't be a fuckwit. And leave. Because I don't have time for your shit. Now where the fuck are you commenting from? Go hard, mate. Come on, go hard. I'm about to block your ass. So while you got a platform, go. Come on. What do you got? There we go. Is that all you got? Come on, man. You're not even out of 100 watts. If I was abusing you back, mate, that's about 130 watts. Wow. See, what I'm offering you here is a platform to show how useless you are as a person. That's all. There we go. If anybody else over on Twitch wants to ban and block that user, feel free. There we go. Every comment you add also ups the channel a little bit over on Twitch. So keep going. Let's go. I'm at 250 watts, mate. If you're in a race, you'd be out the arse. That's where you'd be. If you're in a crosswind, you'd be in the gutter. All right, let me take care of it. Pathetic though, come on. If you really want to hurt someone, do some research first. At least do some research. Because drive-bys, we can have fun with you. We can have fun. You're causing me to do other stuff. I should be testing things. You can just comment again, that'd be great, so I can just click on your username and ban it. So, come on. At least get to 200 watts of abuse. At least, come on. There we go. There we go. Nah, not even. Not even. Ready? First of all, I'll report you. Then we can block you. There we go. Look at the vlogs. How's my watts going? Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. There we go. And you're gone. Happy days. Yeah, I need some Twitch mods. There we go. You weren't even out of first gear, mate. Work on your game. Work on your game. As I said, tips for abusing people. Do your research. Find out a little bit about them. Hey, maybe jump on my LinkedIn. Go back to my work history. And then belittle the fact that I used to work in IT. Do something better. I mean, cancer, bald? Shit, man. Not unique. It's not unique. Mate, you're like a rock in this desert. There's a million of you out there. Everyone just goes past, no one cares. Don't stress him. He's back. Can I block from here? I probably can. Oh, I can. Oh. Jeez. This is fun. I'm already 3 minutes into this. Yeah, that's the kind of shit you need to put up with online. Like, what the fuck was that? Come on. A fucking help channel. Sorry, everyone. Jerks. Absolute jerks. He's wasting his time, but it's also a platform to show people how stupid someone else can be. Like, yeah. If you got a response though, you'll move on to somewhere else and try and get another response. That's a bit of fun. Got 4 minutes of my time at 250, no problems. I'm only at 250 because I'm being held at 250. Perfect example though of what I talked about. What a waste of time. On your deathbed, imagine sitting there going, what should I have spent more time doing? Should I have called my mum? More time with the family? More time at work? No. Should I have spent those hours and hours abusing people on the internet? Not quite. All right, let's go. Shipment of Kickr18s hit the ground as soon as they were announced. So there are Kickr18s around. Lama Lab Test? No, but I can talk you through it. Maybe in a minute. So Lama Lab Test, 10-minute warm-up. It tests more the steady state, which is good for power accuracy and stability. So 10-minute warm-up. Even if a trend doesn't need a warm-up, I still do. That's always handy. From there, 0 offset power meters. and the trainer if it needs it. 200 watt steady state for 10 minutes into 250. Trying to be smooth, trying. They're the zones I guess most people would work at. Sure, people are going to be doing a lot higher watts. Some are going to be doing a lot lower. That's probably the sweet spot. And if anything's going to pop up, it'll pop up at 250. And then 4 minutes off. Oh, sorry, into a sprint straight after. That breaks out of erg into sim mode. And that's more of a peak maximal sprint rather than sustained. I don't have much of a sprint. So if I can pop above 1100, even for a few seconds, I'm happy. And then it's 4 minutes off. That's the first half. And then, gearing wise in that, good question. Small ring in the front, right in the center of the cassette at the back, not changing. Every smart trainer has a working zone of accuracy. Typically that's at slower flywheel speeds. If you whack any trainer, most trainers, although the Zumo was weird, the Zumo kind of worked with this. If you're in the 5311, ripping out 220 watts at 90 RPM, that flywheel is banging along and most trainers fall apart. So you shouldn't really do any erg mode work in the 5311. Anything above flywheel speeds of around 35 to 40k an hour, accuracy seems to go out the window. So that's the gearing that I use for the steady state stuff and the overs and unders. Speaking of the overs and unders, 20 seconds at 150 should be enough to stabilize, and then 350 for 20 seconds, 150, 350 again for 20 seconds, 150, and you'll see this in a moment. 2 more of those at 450. That checks the ability for the trainer to change from low wattage to high wattage, and also its ability to stabilize in erg. I think I'm explaining this quite well at 169 beats. That's usually enough to find out if a trainer's good, bad, or in between, or something needs to be rechecked. Move straight here. And then I have another section which, no, I won't do it tonight, I don't need it tonight, which checks flywheel, what I was talking to you about before, power accuracy at flywheel speeds. So I have a 4.5 minute block at 225, where I spin at 90 to 95 RPM. And then I go on the easiest gear, 90 seconds, mid-range gear, 90 seconds, and then 5311, or largest gear for 90 seconds. And usually things fall apart on the last one. And then we'll see how stable things are. So trainers usually lose their minds in the big ring 11. From there, that's pretty much the Lama Lab Test. Having another 2 sources of power to compare the trainer to is always handy to know if one is drifting. If you only have 2, you're never quite sure. Having left-right on the pedal ears, it's handy, not essential, because at the end of the day you're looking at total power anyway. And then in sim mode, just a few rides and a couple of sprints. Baseline's usually the duos. I have a new set of Vector 3s which is going pretty well too, so I'd happily use those as a baseline too. Rear brakes on the Shiv. Oh, not really. Favorite mower? Ryobi. Go electric. Ready? Sprint. Sorry, microphone. All right, short sprint. And now, this is the fastest 3.5 minutes of the day as I try and recover for these overs and unders. Ideally, you want a longer sprint than that to test the full range, but I'll do that in a sim mode session. Best mid-range smart trainer and power meter combo around 1,200 pounds. I have no idea of things in pounds. If you're looking for a mid-range trainer, Kickr18, Scuto. Doretto's now a top-end trainer. A Kickr18 or Scuto for mid-range, direct drive. Not sure on pricing in the UK. And power meter combo. If you have a look on Gplama.com, there's a power meter guide that I have there. You really need to pick your poison about where you want to measure power. Pedals, crank, spider, or elsewhere, whatever's compatible with your bike. And then go from there. There are good options for all of the above. It just depends on budget and what you can get. If you've got a Kickr18, you don't need a power meter, no. Alright, overs and unders. Let's do it. 2 minutes, this comes up way too fast. Crank-based power meter, yeah. Shimano left only is a good budget option. Yeah. Phil Price, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. All right, legs are good for the overs and unders. 36 viewers on Twitch. Good evening, Twitch. Good to see everybody on Twitch. If you're not familiar with Twitch, it's the way they restream things at Twitch. Really, really good quality. Really good. Jersey, Body Talk in Australia. They're an Australian brand. Body Talk. BODYTORQUE. Game is for life. There we go, Twitch crew. I'm having a good time, Gemma. I am now. Once we got rid of some cancerous abuser, literally, in the channel there for a bit. But that was a good 4 minutes of fun, giving someone a platform to show the world what I was talking about pre-stream, or pre that part of the stream. Happy days. For the erg mode tests, I'm in the small ring the majority of the time, yes. Where do we go? We'll go to the volcano. Okay, so back in the same gear as before. So same flywheel speed. Do I train every day? Pretty much. Testing becomes training. And training becomes testing. And for a few months there, I was only doing Lama Lab tests. That's not enough to be fit enough to keep doing them. So I've been doing a little bit more lately with the Gplama 5er workout. If you follow me over on Strava, you'll see me do a lot of those. And the great thing about testing so many different power meters and trainers is that you'll do the same workout all the time, and it never requires the same effort. So that's how I vary my workouts. I try and have Mondays off though, if I don't have to do anything for work. If I have to test something, I need to ride Mondays. But this is part of what tonight's about. If I can get this done, I'm off tomorrow. I'll do something else. 350 in the bag, no worries. Come at me, come on, intervals, let's do it. Workouts for time trials? Zwiftcoach.com, which is a domain I'll probably be sued for owning soon, but have a look there for a few good workouts. $350, come on. I'm too cocky, you wait till $450. I won't be smiling then. Boom. Now the fun starts. The sheep out on sheep patrol are busy with their little lambs, so they're not missing me at the moment. Lots of lambs out at the moment, it's lambing season. $450. We got it, we're good. Come on. End of the keno. 50-50 balance too. Excellent. There it is. One more. No route tonight. Just the Lama Lab Test. And Titans Grove. Beat sheep. That was last night. Or was it 2 nights ago? I'm lost. There we go. Job done. All right, the next one I don't need. I have data on that. So there's a Lama Lab Test, just quick. I'll roll over that. So a few short sharps, usually a 10-minute warm-up, but I went a little bit longer. 10 minutes at 200. The kicker will automatically flatten the watts a little bit more. Even though I don't have power smoothing on for the kicker, I switch that off. It still flattens things a lot. Into 250. And what that checks for is, if you remember back from the in-peak power meter, every 45 seconds that would oscillate, and we could only really see that after 10 minutes of data. Heat drift, or offset drifting of other power meters, if things are getting hot in the room, will usually pop up around here, or around here after that warms things up and steps up here, or if it takes a while, about there. Sprint, also for the maximum power sprint, 11:53, that's okay for now, it's all really I need. I should work a little bit more on that, but that's fine for checking maximum power sprint and responsiveness. And then from there, if the sprint screws the offset of any power meter or the trainer, you'll see it through here and through here. So that serves two purposes, I guess. And then the overs and unders, which is you've seen the Lama Lab Test results that I do on trainers. They'll go, is it trapezoid? If they're too slow to respond, it'll take ages to come up and ages to come down. If a trainer is really responsive, it'll just kick straight up like a digital graph. That's looking pretty good through there. The kicker kicked in about 2 seconds. It was switching from 150 to 450, so that's pretty good. You can see there in all of those, my little heart rate lagged. So it takes about a minute for my heart rate to stabilize through here. Again, when I step up, another minute or so. Sprint, the heart rate's laggy. And through here, I only start working hard after the session's done. And it's coming down nice and fast, so fitness is pretty good. Anyway, that's a full breakdown of the Lama Lab Test just here. How I look at it and what I do. The juice really is in downloading the other 2 power meters and then doing the overlay, which I love doing. I'm digging into seeing what's going on. Oh, up the volcano again. Oh, why not? So that's it, that's done. We'll have a look at that data later on, see what lines up, see what doesn't, and go from there. How many kilometers tonight? Oh, look, I'll go through to the hour, so if you have any questions or you want to have a chat, feel free to jump in the chat. Let us know where you are and what you're doing. What training you own? Resolution on Zwift, I'm running it in 4K. But the screen is a little bit scaled back. So I can have multiple things on this screen. And can I take a photo and show you? Probably use the camera on the other phone. I'll show you what I'm looking at. I haven't covered my full setup. What everything looks like. Phone. Is that on screen? Can you see the phone? I better do it that way because it's the same. So that's my normal. There's my desk in front of me with the scene switcher, keyboard, mouse, chargers, everything. But there's my 4K screen in front of me. I've got it minimized so I can watch the PowerShell script, there's music in the background, the stream just there. And chat, you guys, you've got a whole window to yourselves. And there's some tabs up there, which that's what I use to switch over and moderate things by myself. It's a one-man band. That's what I'm looking at here though. Looks very different though. Oh, and the green screen behind me too. Can I... Always looks funny. So here's me. There we go, that'll work. It's practical, so actually that looks cool. that camera's better. So there's the mic just here. That's the big green screen I got behind me. You can see it's lit up. You've got to light the green screen up so there's enough contrast between me and the background. If not, my head goes fuzzy and things go fuzzy. But it's... Yeah. I should use that as the camera. You got that. I should use you. You're much better than my other little thing. I should just stick an iPhone on the top of the screen there. How much for this investment for all of this? If an amateur were to self-finance, you're looking at one right now. This is all just off-the-shelf equipment. There's nothing studio. There's nothing commercial about any of this. Windows 10 machine from Officeworks. OBS is free software. It's a the camera in here is a webcam, so I'd like to replace that one day with something a little better. But it's enough for the streams. Lighting is just simple little box lighting off eBay. It really is just pieces joined together that work. Comes together quite well. I'm pretty happy with it. The bicycle's the most expensive part. Yes, yes. Oh, this one's only this is the 2013 TCR. This is the one that's getting DI2 in a couple of days. I love this camera. This works so well. Why haven't I been using this one? And you know, if I put a... if you put a green screen... Sorry, well, I just play with things live here. Check this out. I'll be able to put a green screen filter on this one, on this camera here, and it will make that green disappear. Is it tech paid for by sponsors? No, I buy it all myself. Because it's all mine. It's not that expensive. It's webcam. It's a webcam. Windows machines and my Windows machine. It's putting it together. And there's how-tos, there's resources, there's... See? But there's nothing behind me. Is there? So that just replaced the green with black. That didn't do much at all. Huh. Why is that? Because the phone is black. Right, so if I took away the phone... Yeah, see, there. So that's just... I've done a video on this the other day of how to put a phone in the screen. It's just an outline. That's how I'm floating. Cool. Now I've got to go undo that. The Elgato green screen, yes it is. Yeah. That's expensive-ish, but for what it does, it's so... I've done a video on that a while ago. On the Elgato. It's just a simple pull-up screen, self-standing. The alternative is just a green sheet. But you've got to put it on a frame somehow and pull it tight and get the lighting correct across the whole background. See, that is super smooth. This is just dead flat and perfect every time. I own 2 of them. They're that good. All right, enough of them double me. One's enough. That was cool, though. I like that. It's handy having the ability to pull that in. Did everyone see my snow in the backyard the other day? I didn't I pull that in the other day. That was cool. Question. Sorry, I've just been tinkering around by myself here. SRAM Force for half price. So tempted Force Axis or Force? Because Force Axis is the new kid on the block. You want to see how long Force is going to be around for. Should be still for a few years, but if it's Force Axis and ETAP, yeah, Axis, okay, cool. It should be half price anyway. That'd be a nice price point for it. Just watch your ongoing costs. I think Force Axis cassettes here in Australia are $300 minimum for a cassette. That's a burn. That's really something to consider. 18, 20 for the full Force Axis. Yeah. I guess they might say the cassettes last twice as long or 3 times as long or something. I haven't done my research. I saw the 300 and went, ouch. How much smoother Twitch is? Yeah. Isn't Twitch crazy? And that's exactly the same stream. So I'm only uploading one single stream to Restream, and then they send it out to the broadcasters. One write-on's given. That's a bit embarrassing. Someone pulled me up for that in chat the other week. Yeah, and if I was to switch to anything SRAM and have to have 4 or 5 cassettes, that's a lot of coin. Maybe there'd be industry pricing or media pricing I could grab. I don't know. I'll have to have a look into it. I'm interested on the ETAP stuff. Like, what's their diagnostics? I've gone through the DI2 diagnostics. I haven't seen any for ETAP Axis though. I guess the SRAM crew will say it doesn't need it. But that's knowledge if it doesn't need it. All right. 9:30 at night. Dolphin A doesn't start for another hour and a half. I could easily chat for another hour and a half. If you'd like to see me chat more, but in a more structured way than having to block trolls and be out of breath and muck around with my cameras and things here live on the live stream. If you have a look at restream.io, I had an interview yesterday morning our time for about an hour with Anya from Restream, chatting about sports, live streaming sports or indoor sports, a bit of my background. She picked up on my my bio having Bone Breaker in it, and I put that there from years ago because I've broken a lot of bones. I just had to be clear for when we started talking about it that it was my bones that I was breaking. I'm not an enforcer. I wasn't breaking other people's bones. So we covered that. And also a really interesting question about how traumatic my cycling career was. And I've got the questions a few days earlier, so I had to have a think about that one. And if you want to have a listen to the answer on that one, I can't remember where it is. There's a tease for you to go listen to the whole thing. But as a preview of what I said, it was more about I didn't realise I had been in any major road trauma accidents until I got a phone call from the TAC. If you're in Australia, you know what the TAC is, the Traffic Accident Commission. I got a phone call to check on my mental well-being, my health, my recovery 6 months after my crash. But it wasn't just any crash. I'd broken my hip. I was in the middle of the road down in Geelong somewhere. It was in a race. And it was only then when I took that phone call, after I was fully recovered, pretty much, that I realised that it was considered major road trauma. I guess I couldn't walk or get off the road. They had to scrape me off. But I have a bit of a chat about that over on Restream. Thank you for the link there. That's fun. I love chatting to people who don't know about Zwift, don't know about indoor cycling. One of the questions, was it hard to get people excited about indoor cycling? And if you know my stuff here, and I said, if you love it half as much as I do, you'll have fun. If you love it just a little bit as much as I do, you'll still have fun. Another topic of discussion was around how's the business of cycling during COVID or post-COVID. Not that we're really post-COVID yet. Broken hip club, there we go. Pubic rami was mine, wasn't full hip. It was just what they call the burger ring at the front. And you can't break that in one place, because just like you can't break a burger ring in one place, it's got to break twice. So it's where my adductor connected to on this side. It broke. But in regards to business during COVID, and I just said, look, pinpoint the date, March 18th. The views on the channel went through the roof. People seeking out trainers, information, and all that. The advertisers also disappeared, so it sort of stayed the same monetization-wise. The business went, I guess, well for views, and bicycle stores are sold out everywhere. But I had to sort of step back a little bit and think, well, not to put too much of a positive spin on this and to celebrate cycling, whilst a lot of other industries are completely decimated and just non-existent. It's more about the fact that we can celebrate that we've got cycling to go to, and that's cool. Because if you're into building and you're a hobbyist builder or something, you can't go to Bunnings, that sucks. You can't go to JB Hi-Fi and get your tech gear, or if that's what you're really into. But we've still got bikes. We still have bikes for now, which is cool. And pro cycling's back. Yes! And my wife's back. Even better.
Hi.
Drop in, Vaughn. How you doing?
I'm good. Are you finished up?
Nope.
What do you mean?
I'm going to go for another 4 or 5 hours. We're good. We're almost done. We'll keep rolling. It's all downhill from here. No, I don't have a Discord server. We should have a Discord chat, but again, I got to be careful with people who dropped in. Had a fine example of one of having to moderate the channel tonight.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it wasn't during the overs and unders though. It was just during the steady state. My heart rate wasn't steady state. We got it done though. Some injuries never leave you. Yeah, good call. Any thoughts on the Zwift competitors that still exist? Sticks the knife in the question. I love that, the competitors. No, look, there's enough room in this space for competitors for Zwift. There's enough room for people to pick and choose. Just like Reebok still exist. Actually, can someone check that? The Reebok still exist? Nike haven't taken over just yet. Zwift is... It's funny watching the forums and the community, which I still keep a close eye on every day, and I'm still a part of. Zwift's no longer the small underdog. It was one guy in his garage making Zwift. It was the underdog that everyone celebrated, but because they're now multi-million dollars and, you know, the winner at the moment, people treat them differently, or I guess there's a level of expectation there, I guess, too. So the competitors, there's a lot of them still in that space. They're still in their, what would you call it, a honeymoon period, upswing, what would you call it? Initiation phase, yeah. And these companies will do very well. I know most of them, to be honest, and I talk to them on a regular basis. A lot of them in Australia too. I love how some people are when there's an update to the new UI. Look, of course that needs an update. I'd love an update to the UI. But I've said early on, what happens if the UI was just the menus where you start Zwift and go, okay, click pair here next, but then the user experience was exactly the same, so the UX wasn't changed. All these people who are saying, give us the new UI above everything else. There's 10 seconds every ride. I hope by UI it is everything. I'd love, in a 4K screen, I'd love my little menus to be a little smaller, though it works for the stream. One thing we've got to be careful with, and a lot of people are, I've had many discussions about this, good discussions, about cables for trainers. Allow us to plug things in. That's still solving a problem with old tech though. It's like, what was the Henry Ford? If we asked people what they wanted, they'd want faster horses. Even if that quote wasn't true, it's a great analogy about a lot of people try and solve problems to get to the end solution that they want. Geez, I'm talking a lot of crap now, but I'll get there. Plugging a cable in isn't the answer to any sports equipment because the computer is there and the trainer's over here. You ain't going to plug a cable into an Apple TV. The solution is they want faster access, more reliable, and secure. Let's go secure as well. Why not? Not that there's much security around these devices at the moment. So faster, more reliable, and more secure. Cool. 5 gig Wi-Fi does that. That's again, talking about solution. That is a solution to get to the endpoint. I think my prediction for the new Kickr port they've put on the back of the trainers, it's a stopgap. The Kickr port will allow them to do something exactly like that. They'll have the serial to Ethernet connector, or it'll be an adapter that'll connect to the Ethernet. The device will be on your network. Done. But that could very well be wireless. You could just plug an Ethernet converter in, or an Apple. What if I got a Google Hub? And you're done. That now becomes wireless. And the next logical step from that is to just remove the port and remove the cable and put the wireless in the unit. So I think give me 2 or 3 years on that, I think. And if training companies aren't thinking about this already, they're crazy. Just make it Wi-Fi. Everything else is. I mean, you can buy a Google Home Mini for what, $49 or? Wi-Fi's cheap. What's not cheap is the recertification process though when they do the PC board changes, and I think that's probably a limitation, especially during this year, during the Rona period. Bushido was the start of that with no power lead, so the Bushido was self-powered. Did that feed power back into the grid too? Obviously not a lot. Humans are horrible at power. Speaking of, 130 watts. I'm keen to see where it goes though, but I want to see 3 years into the future. $2, there we go. Just self-powered, yeah. Like self-powering, probably not much of a tech that I put too much value on. Whew, where do we go? Where do we go? We'll go to 40Ks. Let's do it. Von wants me to jump off. So LAN is the answer though. Just make it IP. That way everything connects to it, because at the moment, yeah, Apple TV, you're not going to plug a cable into that. iPhones, not a peripheral cable. Android devices, no, not really. If you have a direct connect port to USB, you've got to write drivers for it across all the platforms. No. And then the next step from that will be to have the trainer, or the smart trainer, or the smart bike to become a communication hub, and I may have talked about this before. My idea of that, probably not my idea, obviously people have thought about this before, but the real cost of Wi-Fi would how do you get everyone to talk the same standard on Wi-Fi? Exactly, it's the adoption of the standard. But Ant Plus is a standard, Bluetooth as a standard, they're too slow to implement all these cool new things. And this is where something like the Peloton, if the company owned the hardware start to finish and own the software start to finish, it's going to solve a lot of problems. The openness can also be a bit of a downside. Next route badge, Luke, I am screwed because I've got the large, long routes to do. So group rides for those, probably not. I'd love for Zwift clubs to be around so I could then schedule a club ride for people to be aware of, but clubs has not moved for months now. I love steering. Yeah, it's... Steering, as I've answered somebody over on Reddit a few minutes ago, before I jumped on. Yeah, PRL full and half I've got to do. Steering, it's good to get out of the conga line up Von 2. Everyone's in one straight long line and you can just like swing to the middle of the road and get out of that line. Or if a rider's up, you can just ride around them. Does it change your training? No. Does it make you a better cyclist? No. Does it give you something to do with your hands while you're sitting here in a room going nowhere? Yeah. So it's kind of fun. If you go the half and you continue, do you finish the full? No, Martin. I believe with the route badge unlocks, you've got to select that route yourself or enter an event that has that route pre-selected. So if you do full, I'm pretty sure you won't get halfway there. I've not seen anybody mention that's the case. But yeah, it sucks, but it's also the challenge. Look at those two routes, the 260k routes on France. They're horrible. They were way too long. You can't put it underneath the Kickr climb, no. Charlie, if you zip back to my video the other day on answering a few questions on the Sturzo and the steering in Zwift, I actually pull up where is it? It's still upstairs. The Kickr climb, and I sit it on top of the Sturzo, and I explain that the heel or the foot of the Kickr climb moves back and forward, which would change the pivot point, which would be all bad news. Not something I really want to try. Imagine doing the half knowing that you have to do it all over again. Martin, you've got to think about the cup being half full. You do the full, and then you're like, I've only got the half left to go. Easy done, see? Yeah, there's thinking. Easier said than done though, isn't it? Both Ant and BLE have standards for power meters, heart rate, etc. Yes, but not steering devices, not electronic group set changing or gear sets or auxiliary buttons or all the proprietary stuff, I guess you'd call it, that's coming along. Oh, sorry if I missed you. You said that before, did you? Do the full foot. You did. Sorry, I missed that. Good call. Good call. As I said, if I'm talking about something rarely, it's a unique thought. There's a lot smarter people than me around. Martin, you're one of them. You're on top of it. Desert flights, now let's go down. Pivot rocker the Sturzo. Whoa. Hey, Bicycle Sunday, do you want to know a secret? I know how the Sturzo works. I'll tell you about it in a moment. 183 in the YouTubes. So the Sturzo Smart is very smart. I may have popped the lid to have a look, see how it all works. It's a little PCB right near the pivot point, right at the top. I haven't got it on screen, have I? No, sorry. No, the camera's not pointing at it. Give me a moment. I'll put the camera on it so you know what you're talking. So you know what I'm talking about. Okay, that's going to be close. I just have to enable that camera. I'll explain. As I drag out this session here, waiting for the Dauphiné to come on board. Oh, by the way, if you want to watch Dauphiné and some good commentary, Lanton Rouge. The Lanton Rouge channel, you can't miss him. Fantastic commentary. That guy knows cycling like nothing else. Brilliant commentary. Definitely tune into Lanton Rouge. If you've got the stream playing somewhere and you want some alternative commentary, he's on the money. Now, what was this camera called? Here we go. Sturzo. Hello, Sturzo. Okay. Doesn't get any more live than this. The dodgy camera angle. Right, Sturzo. There is nothing physically, or there's nothing electronically / physically linking the steering sausage to the steering plate. There is simply a little a pivot point and a spring. And the pivot point itself, on the back of it, has two bearings that roll. I think Ray might have pulled his apart in the video for that. So that's the Sturzo Smart. That's the physical, but there is no electronics in the top part that moves. And the only electronics underneath, it's a little PCB that sits under there, Super smart. It does Bluetooth and ANT, not ANT Plus, not yet. So it does Bluetooth. It can be firmware upgradable because it's Bluetooth. And it has a little, what would you call a magnet? Yeah, bingo, you got it. INU. Absolutely nailed it. So the securing bolt on the pivot point has a is magnetic. So then it has a polarity, and it has obviously north and south. And the PCB reads that, and as you turn, obviously that turns and it reads the angle. It's cool. It's super cool how it works. I was going to say it's so simple, but it's not. It's actually very smart. Bingo, there you go, position sensor. But it makes sense. When I flipped it over, I'm like, I'm going to see this. What kind of magic is under here? It's just... I'm sure people will pull it apart and do a breakdown video. It's not that interesting to do a... Is it a Hall effect sensor? There we go. I don't know what a Hall effect sensor is. Again, it's above what I know by a long shot. But it's pretty cool. I'm sure, yeah, they've existed for a long time. The technology's there would be, but the way they've solved it to steer on a bike, and I guess for longevity, it's not going to break. There's no moving parts for that part. It's magic. No, I think the insane clown posse are the ones to ask the questions. How magnets? How do they work? Come on, does anybody know the meme? I'll go through to an hour and a half. We're good. We're good. I enjoy the chat. Thanks everyone for dropping by. Good morning, Kyle. Are they juggalos? Is that the insane clown posse crew? They'd be interested, so it has magnets. Though it's not magnetic, the return to center is all with a spring. Don't use a Sturzo near an MRI. Yeah, it wipes floppy disks. Watch for that. H3 is silent as the core. Yeah, I'd put them on par, actually. They're not... Yeah. Saris nailed it with a H3 for sound. So, it all comes down to drivetrain for most of those trainers nowadays. Gplama, misheard song lyric from many years ago, many years ago. Someone was rocking out to heavy metal music. I thought they were screaming out God's Pet Llama. I'm thinking, God's Pet, what song is that? I'm like, hey Tyson, what are you listening to? What song? Does that have some kind of religious meaning? Llama, 1L, God's Pet Llama, does God have llama? Like, what is this song? What's the band? I have no idea what song it was. Tyson looked at me, he's the heavy metal kid from school. And he's looked at me and gone, what the hell are you talking about? And then just moves on or walks away. I'm like, oh, that's kind of God's Pet Llama. And I thought about that later in the day, and we needed to select a unique username. One of the systems were logging in for computers at the time. And it stuck. The output signal from that X pattern, no. Now the output signal from the Sturzo, I'm going to turn longer, make it turn. It's, would you call it proprietary? Yeah, I guess it's ANT, proprietary and Bluetooth. And you also can't select your route with it, so I can steer, so I can technically choose my lane, but I can't choose my direction with it. I've still got to use the keyboard for that. Next innovation for trainers for the 2021 season. I'd like this, well, there's not much more they can do for trainers. They're mostly accurate enough. They're mostly quiet enough. They're mostly responsive enough in erg. So that's thinking about what we currently have. I think has been optimized to the point where they now support through axle natively, different bike types, brake caliper clearance. Bingo, Tobin, you're on the money. Lower prices. I hope to see that, but the spanner in the works, or the Rona in the works, is that demand for trainers are right up. So even the expensive ones are selling out. So why would a manufacturer drop the price? We almost need another manufacturer to come in, or someone else to come in and disrupt the market. Elite did that with the Diretto. I think Tax tried it with the Flux, but let's not mention the Flux. The Diretto was a game changer for the mid-range. So I'd love to see lower prices. But looping back through 10 or 15 minutes ago, I want to see that Wi-Fi connectivity solved. However they solve it, it's not going to be with the cable. So faster responsiveness, secure connections, and more reliable. Solving that with today's technology would be, what, 5 gig Wi-Fi inbuilt on board, connected that to your home network, somehow make everything compatible with that. There's a lot of hand waving going on here. That should be the next option, the next logical step. But I'm still thinking in terms of what we know about now and optimizing what we have. And I think that comes down to a lot of people complaining about, well, we complain about a lot, don't we? The Zwift UI or Zwift this or Zwift that, because we want things fixed. But people saying, oh, I wish they'd change the gameplay or fix the drafting in Zwift and not work on steering. But thinking outside the square, steering does fix the drafting. You can jump on a wheel, or you can break off the wheel, or you can move over and get someone back on your wheel so they get the draft from you. You can do crosswinds now. If the wind was coming from the left, bang, I'd stick it in the gutter here. And there'd be less of an effect for the person behind me. Or if I was with a few teammates, I'd sit out about here. One or two of them would be in the gutter getting that draft effect. And where we go, breakaways would work better. In turn, fixing the drafting. Or solving the current problems of drafting by implementing something new that will allow us to tinker with it. I don't know. I still want to see crosswinds. Oh, I'm not going to shoulder check that guy. Look at that, what a unit. D. Cook. No, mate, you got me covered. Saris doesn't have a mid-range, yeah. Elbow golf. I'm not touching D. Cook. He's an enforcer. Actually, he'd be a good draft. Let me try and sit on the wheel. If he was on a Sturzo and shoulder check me, I'd be in the bay. Anybody else got any ideas of what they want to see? Because I think with a lot of the forum stuff that I dive into all day, every day, a lot of the things we talk about is what we already know about and we just want optimized. I've said with steering now, we could probably have a velodrome because you'd use the banking for positioning. So if you're putting out 300 watts and then you steer up the bank at 300 watts, someone could still come in underneath you at 300 and you slot back in. Perfect for pursuit training, pursuit racing. But would the banking be smart enough though to kick your resistance harder on the smart trainer? Would it be fast enough? Probably not. Crunch. But virtual velo, there we go. Sleeveless jersey, or... Well, the way they'd solve that outside of the box, they just have skin-coloured arms. That's a possibility. RGT. Yeah, I had an early go on RGT a while back. When they flipped over to the 2-device model, so they have everything connected to the mobile phone and then have just the screen app. I connected all that up to see how it was. Veloton, no. More GTA 5. No, GTA 6. GTA 6. Rockstar are milking GTA 5 like nothing else, aren't they? Okay, here's a bit of drunk steering. This looks hilarious on Strava. If you go back and dive right in, it puts a big snake. Zwift does not have in-game chat, no. Early on, they were thinking about it. I think Discord was thrown around, because a lot of people still use Discord. Discord, yeah. The problem, though, is open mic, and obviously abuse of the service. We saw earlier in this stream, even the text chat gets abusive people we need to remove. Chat, on the other hand, a lot of teams use Discord themselves, but having Zwift be responsible for that, they'd have to, yeah, carefully police that, I guess, or sign here to make sure you're okay with your mum jokes. Yeah, for breakaways and just for general chat, Discord's very cool. All right, 1 minute left. We better get out of here. Thanks everyone for dropping by and catching up. It's been fun. We've got the Lama Lab Test done. I got some drunk sowing done here. And we had a bit of fun in chat there. As I said, the Restream.io interview that I did the other day was a heap of fun. Having a chat to somebody about all of this and streaming and sports and doing it all at an elevated heart rate. Anya from Restream had a couple of great questions. We had a couple of questions in from the chat from people who don't know about this. So there was definitely some left field chats there. So Restream.io, you'll find them. If I remember, I'll put a link below in this video description for that. But that's been fun. We're going to hit 45. If I keep going, I'll get to like 45.3. I need to get to 46. Let's call it a day. There's the link there. Thank you, Funk44. Much appreciated. I'll have to work out some chat moderators too. That takes just a couple of minutes just to block people in there who sort of find the channel accidentally and start hurling abuse. So we'll get that sorted. So the experience for everybody else in the chat is a little better. Anyway, feel free to message me. I don't expect anyone to work for free though, or if you, I'm not asking people to go out of their way, but if you're just sitting in chat anyway, this is what you do. Yeah, that Drazheart, thank you so much. But it's all about everybody having a good time. And at the end of it, as I said on the Restream stuff, if at the end of a video you've been entertained, or you've learnt something, or you've watched me be a little frustrated and had a giggle, that's all good by me. We have to smile. And I have to smile when Garmin Connect is back up and I can get all these fit files and have a look at what happens. So there we are. Enjoy your Sundays, whatever is left of it. Thanks for tuning in. As always, we'll be back again. Hopefully, tomorrow's my day off the bike. I hope. I'm going to get to work on the Di2 upgrade for this bike and the table upgrade. I've got the ultimate smart desk coming along, and it is a smart desk. It has more smarts than I'll ever have in me, so I'll try and cover that one too. That'll be hopefully this week. We'll get to it if I have all the parts for Di2. All right, there we go. We shall see everybody very soon. Thanks for tuning in.